What's up guys, Nashti here and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to round out the most affordable, most budget-friendly, and cheapest smartphones with LED or AMOLED display. In the past, it's not quite common to see affordable smartphones with LED display because they're usually seen on high-end and flagship smartphones. But you know, as technology progressed, they can even be seen on smartphones that are mid-range to lower mid-range. But before we proceed with our countdown, let me discuss first what an LED display is. Well, compared to LCD, LED displays usually have deep blacks, high contrast, and colors that pop, the vivid ones. Well, at least when compared to LCD. While an LCD usually have a backlight, an LED doesn't have one because it's powered by individual pixels that, emit or produce light. So when your screen displays something that's black, the light is actually turned off on an LED display, thereby saving power or battery life as well. So what's the downside of preferring an LED display over an LCD one? Well, the only thing that I could think of is the burn-in issues. That normally happens when, you've had your phone for quite a while, usually a couple or so number of years, and then you'd notice that the content sort of gets stuck on your screen even if you're already doing something else on your phone. I think that usually happens when you use a low quality LED display, and of course you're probably abusing your phone, like you're literally turning it on for hours without letting it rest. Again, as technology gets better, these issues are no longer as common as before. So let's now proceed with our countdown of the most affordable smartphones with LED or AMOLED display. As you know, Samsung is the biggest player in the market that produces AMOLED display. Of course, you're familiar with Super AMOLED, Dynamic AMOLED, and the like. So you shouldn't be surprised that most of the smartphones on our list are also from Samsung. But don't worry, we also have entries from other smartphone manufacturers. So let's not wait any longer. Let's get down to business because it's about to get nasty. So what are the most affordable AMOLED smartphones available in the Philippines as of June 2020? Let's start off with the Samsung Galaxy A30s, which packs a 6.4-inch Super AMOLED display of HD resolution. It runs Android 10 with One UI 2.0 on top and is powered by an octa-core Exynos 7904 chipset. It has 64 gigs of expandable storage and 4 gigs of RAM. It has a triple camera setup with a 25-megapixel primary camera plus an 8-megapixel ultra-wide-angle camera and a 5-megapixel depth sensor. Its video recording maxes out at Full HD. It also has a 16-megapixel selfie camera with Full HD video recording capabilities as well. Connectivity-wise, it comes with USB-C, USB OTG, LTE, and dual SIM support. It has a 4000 mAh battery with 15 watts fast charging. It also features a 3.5mm audio jack, an FM radio, and an in-display fingerprint scanner. It retails for 11,990 pesos, but you can get it for as low as 9,990 pesos when on sale. It was released in September 2019. What I like about the Samsung Galaxy A30s, well, it's the cheapest LED smartphone available in the market today. It's relatively lightweight, it runs Android 10, it has a decent base storage and RAM, and a dedicated micro SD card slot. However, it has a low-resolution display, no always-on display, has an old and less capable chipset, and has no 4K video recording capabilities. Up next is another Samsung smartphone in the form of Galaxy M31. It comes with a 6.4-inch Super AMOLED display of Full HD resolution protected by Gorilla Glass 3, and features always-on display. It runs Android 10 with One UI 2.0 on top and is powered by an octa-core Exynos 9611 chipset. It has 128 gigs of expandable storage and 6 gigs of RAM. It has a quad camera setup with a 64 megapixel primary camera, an 8 megapixel ultra-wide angle camera, a 5 megapixel macro sensor, and a 5 megapixel depth sensor. It's also capable of shooting 4K videos and features gyro EIS. It has a 32 megapixel front camera, also capable of shooting 4K videos. Connectivity-wise, it supports USB-C, LTE, and dual SIM support. It has a 6,000 mAh battery with 15 watts fast charging. It also features a 3.5mm audio jack, an FM radio, and a rear fingerprint scanner. Its price starts at 13,990 pesos and was released in May of 2020. What I like about the Samsung Galaxy M31 is its always-on display, it runs Android 10, it has a quad camera setup with 4K video recording capabilities, it has a very large battery capacity, and it has a dedicated micro SD card slot. However, it has a less capable chipset and it's not the fastest charging of the bunch. Up next is yet another Samsung smartphone, which is the Galaxy A50s, which packs a 6.4-inch Super AMOLED display of Full HD resolution with Gorilla Glass 3 protection and always-on display. It runs Android 10 with One UI 2.0 on top and is powered by an octa-core Exynos 9611 chipset. It has 64 gigs of expandable storage and 4 gigs of RAM. It has a triple camera setup with a 48 megapixel primary camera coupled with an 8 megapixel ultra-wide angle camera plus a 5 megapixel depth sensor. It's also capable of shooting 4K videos. It has a 32 megapixel front camera capable of shooting Full HD videos. Connectivity-wise, it comes with USB-C, USB OTG, LTE, and dual SIM support. It also has a 4,000 mAh battery with 15 watts fast charging. It also features a 3.5mm audio jack, an FM radio, and an in-display fingerprint scanner. It retails for 15,990 pesos and was released in September 2019. What I like about the Samsung Galaxy A50s is its always-on display, Android 10, triple camera setup with 4K video recording capabilities, and dedicated micro SD card slot. However, it has a less capable chipset and it's also not the fastest charging of the bunch. And now we have the Realme XT, which comes with a 6.4-inch Super AMOLED display of Full HD resolution, protected by Gorilla Glass 5, and features an always-on display. It runs Android 10 with Realme UI on top and is powered by an octa-core Qualcomm Snapdragon 712 chipset. It has 128 gigs of expandable storage and 8 gigs of RAM. It has a quad camera setup with a 64 megapixel primary camera, an 8 megapixel ultra-wide angle camera, a 2 megapixel macro sensor, and a 2 megapixel depth sensor. It's also capable of shooting 4K videos. Up front, you can find a 16 megapixel selfie camera capable of shooting Full HD videos. Connectivity-wise, it supports USB-C, LTE, and dual SIM. It has a 4,000 mAh battery with 20 watts fast charging support. It also features a 3.5mm audio jack, an FM radio, and an in-display fingerprint scanner. It retails for 16,480 pesos and was released in October 2019. There's a lot to like about the Realme XT, like it's always on display, Android 10, large base storage and RAM, quad camera setup with 4K video recording capabilities, very fast charging support, and its dedicated micro SD card slot. Our fifth contender is another entry from Samsung, the Galaxy A51, which comes with a 6.5-inch Super AMOLED display of Full HD resolution, protected by Gorilla Glass 3, and with always-on display. It runs Android 10 with One UI 2.1 on top and is powered by an octa-core Exynos 9611 chipset. It has 128 gigs of expandable storage and 6 gigs of RAM. It has a quad camera setup with a 48 megapixel primary camera, a 12 megapixel ultra-wide angle camera, a 5 megapixel macro sensor, and a 5 megapixel depth sensor. It's also capable of shooting 4K videos with gyro EIS support. It has a 32 megapixel selfie camera capable of shooting full HD videos. Connectivity-wise, it comes with NFC, USB-C, USB OTG, LTE, and dual SIM support. It has a 4000 mAh battery with 15 watts fast charging. It features a 3.5mm audio jack, an FM radio, and an in-display fingerprint scanner. It retails for 16,990 pesos and was released in March 2020. What I like about the Samsung Galaxy A51 is its always-on display, Android 10, quad camera setup with 4K video recording capabilities, dedicated micro SD card slot, and NFC. However, like all the other Samsungs on the list, it has a less capable chipset and it's not the fastest charging of the bunch. And last but not the least on our list is the Xiaomi Mi Note 10 Lite. It comes with a 6.47-inch Super AMOLED display of Full HD resolution protected by Gorilla Glass 5 with HDR10 support and always-on display. It runs Android 10 with MIUI 11 on top and is powered by an octa-core Qualcomm Snapdragon 730G chipset. It has 64 gigs of non-expandable storage and 6 gigs of RAM. It has a quad camera setup with a 64 megapixel primary camera, an 8 megapixel ultra-wide angle camera, a 2 megapixel macro sensor, and a 5 megapixel depth sensor. It's also capable of shooting 4K videos. In front, you'll find a 16 megapixel selfie camera with full HD video capture support. Connectivity-wise, it features NFC, USB-C, LTE, and dual SIM support. It has a large 5260 mAh battery with 30 watts fast charging. It also has a 3.5mm audio jack and an in-display fingerprint scanner. It retails for 16,990 pesos and was released in May 2020. There's also a lot to love about the Xiaomi Mi Note 10 Lite, like its always-on display, HDR10 support, Android 10, capable chipset, quad camera setup with 4K video recording capabilities, large battery capacity with very fast charging, and NFC. However, it's also quite heavy. It has no micro SD card slot and no FM radio. Here we have a comparison table of the 6 Super AMOLED smartphones. As you can see, for the display and resolution, only the Samsung Galaxy A30s maxes out at HD resolution. The rest comes with a full HD display. For OS and chipset, all run Android 10, but the Xiaomi Mi Note 10 Lite comes with a Snapdragon 730G chipset. For base storage and memory, the Realme XT has an advantage with 128 gigs of expandable storage and 8 gigs of RAM. Note that the Mi Note 10 Lite doesn't have an expandable storage. When it comes to rear camera, 4 of them comes with a quad camera setup. As for the front camera, 3 Samsung smartphones come with a 32 megapixel unit while the rest comes with 16 megapixels. Moving on to other features, for build and frame, it's only the Xiaomi Mi Note 10 Lite that comes with an aluminum frame. For battery, it's the Xiaomi Mi Note 10 Lite again that's on the lead because of its 30 watts fast charging capability. For NFC, only the Galaxy A51 from Samsung and the Mi Note 10 Lite have them. For the fingerprint scanner, all of them have it. 5 of them are in display and 1 of them has it rear mounted, which is the Galaxy M31. As for release date, 2 of them are actually very new, which is the Xiaomi Mi Note 10 Lite and the Galaxy M31 from Samsung. The Galaxy A51 is also relatively new, while the other 3 were released in late last year. As for the pricing, as you can see, it varies widely, but I can assure you that these are the most affordable AMOLED smartphones in the Philippine market today. So, which is the best choice for you? Well, if you ask me, It's a tie between the Realme XT and the Xiaomi Mi Note 10 Lite. Both are quite capable and feature-packed and almost on the same price range. However, the Xiaomi Mi Note 10 Lite doesn't have a microSD card slot, while the Realme XT doesn't have NFC support. And if your goal is just to own a super AMOLED smartphone, then you can never go wrong with the Samsung Galaxy A30s, which costs just 11,990 pesos, and you can get it for 9,990 pesos when on sale. And if price to performance ratio matters to you, then I would suggest you get the Samsung Galaxy M31. While it doesn't have NFC, it's not the fastest charging, or it has a less capable chipset, it actually undercuts the Realme XT and the Mi Note 10 Lite by almost 3,000 pesos. So by now, you know that not all smartphones with LED or AMOLED displays are expensive. So I hope this vlog episode really helped you a lot, especially in purchasing your next LED smartphone. So thank you so much guys for tuning in. If you enjoyed watching this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing and like the notification bell. Only here on the channel where Nashty is nice. I am Nashty. Till then.